remember an old song that we used to sing a lot, How I Got Over. And you never heard it. I think it's only sung in churches that our ancestors came from. How I got over, how I got over, my Lord. Oh, my soul looks back and wonders how I got over. Now, that song tells a story, so many of the songs from the African-American culture, I should say African culture, how we got to this point, how we got over. You know, the Civil Rights Movement was a singing movement. How many of you know that? It was a singing, we sang because it was a wonderful, the singing together tune. I mean, I don't read music, but I open my mouth and say, because we sang because we had to, because it generated a certain spirit that just really evolved in us when we sang together. And we sang whether we were suffering, getting beat up by the police, or whatever, we suffered. So that's how I got over, you know. And but we also sang, I'm going to do what the Spirit says do. You heard that. I'm going to do what the Spirit says do. You ever heard that? Well, I wish I had the drums. What the Spirit says do, my colleague here. What the Spirit says do, I'm going to do, Lord. I'm going to do what the Spirit says. Now, you must have a doctorate or something, because you didn't open your mouth and say it. Yeah, sing it. I'm going to do what the Spirit says do. What the Spirit says do, I'm going to do. I'm going to do what the Spirit says. Now, guess what we had to sing? I'm going to vote because the Spirit says vote. We had to sing about it. Vote because the Spirit says vote. When the Spirit says vote, I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote when the Spirit says vote. We couldn't vote. That's just one of the reasons that we were motivated to evolve to a place of struggling to make the 14th Amendment meaningful. All persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States. As Director of Education for SCLC, the organization led by Dr. King, a lot of folk older than I am now, the closer I get to 100, I realize some of those folk that came to my citizenship education workshops were my age now. I don't like numbers. Yes, I do. I want to be glad, shouldn't I? But I just want you to realize that there were people who decided that we had had enough of the oppression of intolerance, not being treated as full-fledged citizens. We had come to a place in the culture where we were not going to take it anymore. And the reason these older people at the time would leave a 5-day workshop, they would leave knowing by heart that we, all persons born or naturalized in the United States, are citizens of the United States. And in the 5-day workshops, this is a part of the organization Dr. King came to lead. But he didn't start the Civil Rights Movement. And I don't care how many places you read that, Dr. King did not start the Civil Rights Movement. He evolved out of what the people were already doing. And one of my classic examples is that he didn't tell Rosa Parks not to go to the back of the bus. She decided that on her own. You can get a real lesson from that. Because if you don't decide that you're going to do something to move things forward, now you will have a different set of issues and concerns and work, and maybe even different ways of working, but I hope that it will always evolve from your action, from the spirit of love and nonviolence. Because our job is not to beat anybody down, but to win them to a different way of working. And you said, I'm going to love because the Spirit says love. We make up verses. I'll go to jail if the Spirit says jail. And we had to sing that. I'll go to jail because the Spirit says jail. Because we had to do that. I have to share 2 or 3 minutes with you because I ran the citizenship education program. For SCLC, we had 50, 60 people come to a citizenship education workshop. And by the 3rd day, they were no longer singing old sorrow songs, but I'm going to do what the Spirit says do. And the Spirit said, you are a citizen. But only if you internalize that feeling and make it your own. And that's what we had to do with these older people at the time who decided. I remember right here in Birmingham, and we finished a mass meeting, and an elderly gentleman, African-American man, walked out of of the church, the 68th Street Church, and we were going to march, and this man said, Dr. King, I deserve the right to give you this march tonight. And we let him lead it. I know you're going to do and are doing good work in the world, and it's nice to just greet you and say hello, and I have quite a long legacy in this place, and have told this story in countries around the world, a good number of places around the world. And everywhere there's something named for Martin Luther King, and I love Dr. King. I'm glad for that, but I don't want us to forget that Dr. King didn't start it. It was just ordinary folks. I think everybody's ordinary in a real sense. But that people were taking these actions, and he emerged out of what the people were doing. And they were glad to come and learn about this being the most wonderful, I'm going to use the word weapon, but I hate to use a violent one, but wonderful tool is a good word, a wonderful tool, I'm talking about nonviolence, with which to work. And people say to me, and then I'll start with this, I couldn't stand there and let somebody just hit me and I do nothing. Well, neither would I. I get out of the way if I can, but also, I didn't stand there, and somebody else would also try to protect you. Sitting at the lunch counter in Woolworth store, they poured coffee on people who were sitting there, because we were not supposed to sit at the lunch counter. We could shop everywhere else in the store. But I'm just saying, I hope that this was the Nashville Sit-In. There's a film showing the Nashville Sit-In students. And John Lewis is now in the United States Congress, and we're all over the place. But I hope that you will look at what you can contribute to moving us forward from what we did. And that's where it is now, to move forward, identifying what's not working right now, what kind of world do you want to live in, and that it's up to us, you. You may have different tools, but I hope that it will always be looking at a way to heal rather than beat up on anybody, because racism is a sickness, to pick just one thing, and when people are sick, the goal is to heal them, and you can't heal them if you just beat up on them. Bless you, and good work.
Thank you very much. Okay.